So these are the steps. Put a sticker on the envelope. Step 2, put the envelope in the storage bin. Next, you fold the paper. And step 4, you put the paper in the envelope. Step 5, place the envelope face up. Step 6, seal the envelope with a large sticker. And 7, place the envelope in the storage bin. You see any overproduction in this process where any one of the workers is producing more than the next person can handle. Do you see any waiting? Is anyone standing around waiting for their portion of the work? Is anyone overburdened? You can usually tell because work is stacking up in front of that person and the person behind them is having to wait for their work to get done. If you look now, there's a new person that's waiting that previously was working really hard to get his work done. The average time per envelope in this scenario is 1 minute, 12 seconds.
Now, what's the first observation that you guys would see in this 3-step process?
The flow's horrible.
Meaning what? Okay, and explain how it's uneven.
Well, Paul is so ahead of the game, he's got a stockpile, and Leslie's just producing one at a time to me. So it's just a lot of unevenness. I'm doing a lot of waiting over.
Okay, so perfect. So let's talk about Paul. Number 1, what's the waste that Paul's got going on? You overproduced.
Overproduced, right.
Okay, so then Leslie was overburdened, right? And then Ryan, what did you have?
A lot of waiting.
A lot of waiting. Okay, so if we think about that, what I want to do is we're gonna switch up some people here. We're gonna try something again. So let's wait 1 moment. Okay, so we're gonna change this up very slightly. Rich, I want you to follow the process. But what I want you to do is we're gonna take out what's in here right now. Okay, and what I want you to do is I want you to feed no more than 1 at a time to Todd. Okay, understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's rock and roll.
Instead of stacking the envelopes and handing them just at one at a time, that helps us to see that the process is uneven. If you look here, you have 2 people waiting in this process. That's when a process is uneven. Whenever you see 1 person working and then 2 other people not working, you have an uneven process.
Okay, so if we're going to improve the step 1 process, where would we put the envelopes?
Correct.
And we would want them facing up.
Right.
Okay, where would we change the roll at all?
That's if you're right or left-handed.
Okay.
Down my right.
All right. Well, let's assume everybody's right-handed. So where are we going to have the roll?
Right on your right, I would say, right to the right of this.
What if you put it right in front, right above the envelope, so you can just grab it and stick
Okay.
it?
Now remember, as we're talking, we're improving within what we have in this room. So we're not talking about building machines or fixtures at this point.
Right.
It's just yes, you can.
So we can improve the process also?
We're improving the process, but only within what's in this room. We're not adding machines or tooling or anything. With everything, with only what we have here to work with. What's the other thing that you might do, Rich?
I mean, you could put it actually here, that way it's closer to both your hands, because you need 2 hands.
Okay, all right, and then anything else?
Move the bin closer.
Okay,
Bring it right
but it's
here.
got to be, it's got to be good for
So
both.
center.
Okay, so now process 2. How can we improve process 2?
How Rich places it inside the, before we were putting it face up, put it face down so that the envelope can just be opened and insert the letter.
Okay, and that's a good suggestion. What does that reduce?
Motion.
Okay, all right. So let's build one at step 1 right now. Just build one piece. Okay, so now let's talk about step 2. So what are the things that we could do to improve step 2?
Template of some sort for folding the paper instead of trying to line it up.
No, within what we have in this room.
And you can just use a piece of paper, so pre-folded template.
Okay, well, go ahead and show us.
So you'll see the group experiment in different ways in order to improve the process of folding the paper. Once they arrive at the best solution for folding the paper that they know so far, you'll notice that they'll take the time to standardize the improvement. Improvements don't do you much good if you don't hold to that standard and find a way to keep it.
Our jig is the envelope, and then we make our first fold. Then we fold in, it's very easy. We just go right to the inside and we're done.
And we're overcomplicating it.
I believe that's the last one. Yep.
Okay, so all that said, now we drastically improve the steps. Now, looking at the process as a whole, let's talk about what's the issues with the entire process, the 3-step process.
Leslie's overburdened because she has the most motion to do, whereas Ryan and I, it's like, put a sticker on it, we're done. She
Right.
has to fold, she has to grab that, she has to fold it 3 times, put it in the envelope.
Right.
And seal it, and then Ryan just has to put a sticker on it. So between us two, Leslie has overburdened.
Right, okay,
You probably
good.
want to add another person for this step, like maybe one person is folding the
Yeah.
paper.
Well,
and
no,
another
we
person-
don't want to add another person.
Yeah.
We're not adding employees, that's cost.
Yeah.
We add another person, that's cost. So we are gonna do, if anything, we're gonna reduce a person, okay?
Oh, well, since Ryan is waiting on me, maybe he would take over some part, like I would fold it.
do both stickers.
Well, no, we got to go in this order. We want to think this order through. Right. So first of all, let's. I want to just break this down into steps for purpose of learning. Right now, we're stuck with the 3 people. With the 3 people, how can we even this out? Because why did I ask you the last time to only make 1 at a time? What's the main reason I said that? What's
Well, you're gonna notice the waste more. If he looks like he's working all the time, I'm just looking over there and he's making envelope after envelope after envelope.
you don't see any waste.
Exactly. But if he's sitting there and does one, waits for
That's right.
seconds, then
That's exactly what Ono said. So you stop the overproduction so that you see the waste of waiting. So now as a supervisor, you see Paul make one and you see him stand there for 2 minutes before he starts the other. That is the red flag of how you know that it's not even, okay? Okay? So now we know we have unevenness. With the 3 people here, what could we do at each step to help even the workload?
Leslie should just fold the paper. Ryan should put it in the envelope.
Okay, that's 1. All right.
You disagree?
I think because there was a lot of waiting here, just do the sticker. Okay, here you go. Now she still has to fold. And then so this station should put the sticker on and fold the paper. But then you would have to figure out what to do.
No, then
Together,
Leslie
because
would stuff the envelope.
stuff it right, because that's more cumbersome to do that.
Okay.
And then seal it, and then hand it to the 3rd person to put the sticker on it, and probably do a quality check, because that's the last step.
Okay, so let's-
And it would be in that, then we would know that that's 0 defects in that.
Okay, so let's rearrange the line so that we're gonna fold at the first station.
Okay. So you need paper over there, Paul.
Yeah.
You're gonna need some dots, wherever you wanna put your paper.
The right hand side.
You're also gonna need this, you're gonna need to get.
You're gonna be doing 2 processes. I have a suggestion. Maybe you only fold the paper, then maybe Leslie stuffs the envelope, and maybe Ryan puts on both stickers.
There you go.
Okay, Paul, go ahead. We should have been timing this, but we'll get a feel just by watching. Now, our goal would be that Paul and Leslie, well, our goal is that all 3 people have the exact cycle time. And if we achieve that, that bin would go away and we'd have just a location. And the second that he puts it in that location and moves his hand, Leslie's hand would come in and take it. Without even looking. That's exactly what happens in Japan. It would blow your guy's mind. And nobody, by the way, in Japan doing this is struggling. They're not hustling. They're evenly working at a comfortable pace, and everything flows like you wouldn't even believe.
If you look here, you can see how the weighting was reduced drastically. See how all 3 of them are working? Not near the amount of weighting that we have during the original process. In addition, there's no overburden. Notice how even the workload is. Now, with just a handful of improvements, they've increased the production 14 seconds per envelope.
What did we learn by this exercise? Leslie?
That you need to make sure everything is even, that the workflow is even,
Okay.
That your process is easy to understand and works.
What happens when we have an even workflow? I mean, ultimately, what's the end result?
You get more done.
We have flow. Everything is moving. There's no stopping and waiting. Ryan, what do you take away from this whole exercise?
I think it's important to follow the process, even the beginning process, because then we were able to gauge where to improve and what was wrong.
Okay.
After another round of improvements, the group was able to reduce the size of the team by 1 person. They never stopped improving. They never let up and said that things were good enough. If you remember the original process, we had an excessive amount of weighting, and we had one of the people on the team totally overburdened and overwhelmed with work. In contrast, you can't see anybody that's overburdened with work. I don't see any weighting in this process either, and that's with 2 people.
First time yet.
Yeah!
Down with 2 people. All right.
What you got?
Good job, guys.
So just without showing me, just tell me what you did to get that time down.
Like just on Friday or?
No, yesterday.
Or yesterday, sorry. Yeah.
Placement of paper, right?
Yeah, and I
Because it was over here before.
Okay.
And, so it was more in line. And then when Leslie and I we seemed to be in sync with it rather than me put it in here. She was already with the envelope.
Well, that's what you're doing on Friday. On Friday, you were handing it directly to her. I've got it on video.
Yeah, but then
It was just
we
typing.
got better at it, so we're a little bit quicker. That's
And well, we
basically
corrected
repetition.
hand motion too, because he was doing a little flip flop, I think, right? So we
Yeah,
kind
did
of corrected
maybe a
that.
little bit. It was like-
Leslie moved this,
And I moved
moved some stuff closer to her, the envelope closer to her.
Okay, so you remove what kind of waste?
Motion.
Motion. All right. Okay, good. Okay, so in summary, let's just talk about this briefly. So, what did everybody learn through this exercise? Ryan, you start first.
That there's always room for improvement, that you can tighten it up even when you think you've got it really, really precise.
Okay.
There's always something you can do to improve.
Okay, Leslie?
Between teamwork and improvements, you can really improve your work. The improvements, working with everybody, I think makes
Very
it
good.
better.
Excellent.
Well, I guess, it's been said that there is always room for improvement. If you look at the process, you can find the slightest little things can make quite a difference.
Okay. And Paul?
Yeah, like Leslie and Todd or Ryan said, we took a step back and looked and to streamline the process and then just take it step by step and let's maybe move this, and we all work together to try and eliminate that, which we did. So.
Okay. Rich, what do you think?
I'll echo what everybody else says and say you don't really need as many employees as you think you do.
Right. So Leslie, when we first started this, what was the first thing that came to your mind when we talked about how we're going to get better? You know what she said?
I remember.
Okay, what did she say?
You wanted to add somebody.
You wanted to add, you immediately, your very first thing after a year, nearly 2 years of lean was I want to add a person.
Yeah.
So you know what that tells me? I'm not picking on you. It tells me I failed. Because if nearly 2 years into lean, your first thought was to add cost and not remove cost, that means I failed. I didn't do a good job teaching these concepts. And that's part of why we're doing this experiment. Okay, so, and then, you know, think about this. We're driving down the highway, right? Or driving down the roads, and we see, you know, a crew working on the roads. What do we always see?
See guys with his arms crossed like this, watching.
How many guys? You see, right?
Doing the work and
Right.
More that are working actually.
Right. So there's nothing wrong with teamwork and helping people where they need to be helped. Toyota does that. They pull the cord, right? They stop the line. Everybody goes over to help fix the problem and move on. There's nothing wrong with that. But help when help is not needed just adds cost. It's just a waste. So when we're working as a team and two of us are doing something that one of us should do, you guys heard me say this before, guys, let Paul do this or let Ryan, you know, you don't need to be involved with this, because if you're not adding value and really helping, all you're doing is increasing the cost. Okay, so we want to be thinking and be conscious of that. So why do you guys think that I said I want you to make these improvements with what you have in this room? What is that training?
It's a challenge just to get your thought processes working, to like look at the whole picture and say, well, how can we do this? You know?
Right. Okay.
This is what we have here.
All right. That's resourcefulness. Okay. So if that's what we're doing here, I mean, the first suggestion could have been, oh, let's go out and buy a piece of automation that stuffs the envelopes, put the stickers on, and well, by the way, that's a $300,000 machine. We don't have $300,000 to spend on this process. So, you know, later in our first meeting, when we talked about the backlog out in the shop, Rich said, oh yeah, let's add more people. He did the same thing. You know, of course, we do need more people here. That's besides the point. But the point is that those are more monuments. They don't just fall from the sky. We need to work, you know, what's the first, Odo's first precept? You are cost, first reduce waste, right? We need to be resourceful with what we have to make things better and not just run, as you said, Ryan, to pull out your wallet and start spending money on things. It's like, what could you do to improve? Yes, there are times to invest in equipment and tools, but there's an awful lot that can be done without any of that. And you guys proved that in this experiment. Okay. Ryan, what's your takeaway?
The takeaway is that you have to pay attention to where the value is added and try to eliminate any motion, non-value added.
Mm-hmm. Rich?
99% of what we do is waste.
Right. Yeah, 99%, right? Leslie?
Yeah, I think it's just surprising how much of what we're doing is non-value added. You just don't see it while you're doing it. There are things you're doing that you think, well, it's just part of the job, but you don't think about how it's not really adding value.